Hi, and thanks for joining. If you're new here, I'm Wendy and this is Nina's Jewels. My husband and I buy things at garage sales, flea markets, thrift stores, just about anywhere we can find things to sell online and flip for a profit. If that's content you're interested in, you're in the right place. Well, if you're an eBay seller like me, you've probably been moved over to eBay's newest selling platform. Do you like it? Let me know in the comments below. There are things I like about it and things that I'm not a big fan of. The things I like about it are I find that the overall look of it is much more streamlined than it used to be. I like the way the drop-down menus work within the item specifics. And I like that we can add video now to the photo section. There are definitely parts of the listing experience that I am not a big fan of. Specifically, when listing clothing, I have run into an issue as it relates to required specifics. I find that there is a way that they've coded it so that you can't access the size until you enter the size type. And so this has caused me issues because when I'm doing a listing, I will breeze through the item specifics very quickly, and more listings for me means more money. So I was listing stuff and just breezing through them, and I found that I was getting an error message on many of my clothing listings that said, you're missing a required item type of size. And I kept thinking, how is this possible? Why is this happening? Finally, I figured out that on clothing, in the item specific section, you have to select the size type before it will actually populate the size drop-down menu. And it takes a second for the app to think about it and populate that section, which is kind of frustrating because, I'm just sitting there waiting on it usually. So one thing, a workaround that I found for that is that I always go in and I select size type first. Even though that's not the first drop down available, I select that first so that it can be thinking about it and populating that size field for me. And then I'm moving on to the next ones. And then once I'm done with all of them, that size field is available and ready for me to select the size. And then I can move on. So if you're getting hung up waiting for it to populate that size section, that's a quick workaround that I've figured out for that. The other thing I don't really like about the app is that some of the features require you to open a new window to access them, like the quantity discount section. If you're wanting to add a quantity discount, you have to go in and open a new window, and I just find that to be a little bit clunky to go in and open a whole new window to access that. But that's just something that I'll get used to, and that's not something that is make it or break it kind of thing. Here's the big kicker that is something that I think could be potentially disastrous for sellers. And luckily it hasn't been disastrous for me because we keep this information in our spreadsheet that we keep in Google Sheets. But had I not noticed this as quickly as I noticed it, it might have been like a real headache for us. And I'm going to explain exactly what happened. We were listing a whole bunch of stuff, and I went into active listings and I noticed that our custom SKU was not in a lot of the items that we had listed, which was unusual because I knew for a fact that I had put that custom SKU in there. I started investigating a little bit further, couldn't really figure out what happened, started listing again, and it started happening again. So what I figured out is that sometimes when I'm listing an item, I will enter the custom SKU at the beginning of the listing if I already know where I'm going to put that item. But sometimes if I don't know where I'm going to put that item, I will not enter the custom SKU at the time that I'm listing it and drafting it up. And I'll have that draft ready to go. I will take that item into our inventory room and find the location for it, put it away, and then I come back to my computer, and that is the very last thing I do is enter the custom SKU. So the item's put away, and then I enter the custom SKU, and I actually hit Control End, which takes me to the end of the listing, and then I click List. So it is like a 2-second process or less. It's like a 1-second process. I type in the custom SKU and then go to the end of the listing and click list. And that is the time in which it was not capturing that custom SKU. It just wasn't saving it. And so I figured this out and I tested it multiple times and I got it to repeat itself over and over again. And I've notified eBay about this multiple times through their feedback section. Nothing has changed. And so I'm like, this is really bad. Thank goodness we have that information available in our Google Sheets backup. But we've got to get this fixed. So then I started testing it out. I would enter a custom SKU and wait a few seconds before hitting list, and it would always save it. So it's just, if you go very quickly, it will not save that custom SKU. Guys, there might be sellers who list like I do, very quickly enter that and list, and be completely unaware of the fact that that custom SKU has not saved. And if they don't have that information in a backup area on a spreadsheet or something separate from eBay, like we do, they are going to be in for a world of hurt when they go to try to search for an item and don't have that information available, especially if they have a really big inventory like we do. We have over like 3,500 items. So this is huge. eBay has got to get this fixed. So I'm going to actually show you now on my computer on a video screen grab that I did exactly how this is happening. So I'm going to go into my drafts. I'm going to open up a draft and I'm going to type in our custom SKU of where we're going to put this item. I'm going to hit Control N to go to the end of the listing and then hit list. And then I'm going to scroll over to my active listings page and refresh it. And as you can see, it did not save that custom SKU on that item. So that's scary. So I'm actually going to type in that custom SKU because I need that information in this listing. And then I'm going to go back over to my drafts page and open another listing that I have and do the same thing. I'm going to type in the custom SKU on this one, but this time I'm going to take a little bit longer. I'm not going to go as quickly as I did last time, and I'm going to just more slowly scroll down through the listing and take a little bit more time on it. And then go down to the bottom and click list. And now I'm going to go back over to the active listings page and refresh. And as you can see, this time it did save the custom SKU. So it's just about how long you take in between typing in that custom SKU and clicking the list option. But the biggest problem is that if people are not aware of it, they will not know. Also, it's been freaking me out, and I go in and now double check every time, which is taking so much more time on when I'm listing items. So this is definitely a glitch that eBay needs to fix in their system. Well, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please make sure you give it a thumbs up. And if you're not already subscribed to our channel, please consider subscribing with the notification bell turned on so you can be kept informed of all of our latest content. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you on the flip side. Bye.